Hi, this is Ed in San Diego, and you're on Global TV Talk Show, a news service of globalbusinessnews.net. We're very, very happy to welcome back Dr. Natalie Forrest, who's here with us from the Baltimore area, and Mr. Karlton Hoskins is from Gainesville, Texas, and we'll be joined by another very soon, and he'll be introduced. So thank you very much for tuning in to Global TV. This is about business. This is about tech and helping business be more efficient, particularly dealing with customers. So I want to first introduce our leader here, Dr. Natalie Forrest. Hello, Natalie.
Good morning, Ed. Always good to see you. And I love what you've done with the show and how you're
Thank
just highlighting so many important things. Really
you. Yeah,
appreciate you having us.
thank you. Yeah, I'm honored. It's very exciting. So, Natalie, tell us about what you're doing here with this new company, and actually not so new. But I was reading on LinkedIn that it's a public company. Is that right, Karlton?
It is public.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things we've talked before, of course. So many of your viewers probably know that I'm a business consultant. And as that, I also met Karlton, who also has a long-standing history as an expert business consultant. And when him and I talked, he pointed out to me something that I probably should have known, but that, sometimes we know stuff, but it doesn't register. So he said, you know that over 80% of small businesses fail. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, my first business wasn't that successful. My second business wasn't that successful. So I had an idea. And then I realized, speaking more with him, that he was asking all the right questions about why is that? There are a lot of ideas out there on why do small businesses fail? Is it the idea? Is it this or is it that? And what it comes down to, and I've seen that as a business consultant, is putting all the right steps in the right sequence in play. So as a business consultant, which I know many of your audience can also relate to, we have our niche. I mean, I work on purpose, potential, that's what I work on. I don't necessarily ask my client if they have a business plan. That is not something that I would objectively ask because my focus is someplace else. But then 2 months down the line, I'm like, why don't you have these things? I was like, whoa. So in order to avoid that, wouldn't it be great to have a tool that does that? Or to have somebody who really goes with you step by step, sort of like a business process development just made easy. And that's how Karlton and I started talking about it. And the more I talked with other people, it is that crucial piece of following a sequence. And when I now reflect on my business, it's like, whoops, I'm missing something over here, oh, didn't do that one, and that can cause businesses not just to die because their idea wasn't that great or their timing wasn't that great, but they may be successful for a few years, make some money, maybe for 20 years they make a lot of money, but they're not sustainable where they have an exit strategy where they grow continuously or anything of that sort. So there's a bit of a difference between success and sustainability. And if we work on sustainability for my business that I'm also getting help with, or when I help others, it's crucial that we look at the long-term effect and the impact that has at the US economy, Canada, and going even wider than that, all the other countries in the world where small business is a crucial piece of our economy.
Let me say that the idea of having a business plan is scary because it's organized BS, and I don't know how anybody can take it seriously because we had no idea that my regular business, which was live conferences, would disappear because we played to, quote unquote, over 1,000 people in the past 15 months up until our Washington, D.C. event on February 27, which is the last one.
Yeah.
And it's gone away. There's zero money. And meanwhile, I got bills to pay. And so no matter what my business plan said, I just don't even think about it. I just got to make this product work and then go big for sponsors, and that's it. So, Karlton, does this sound real to you? It's real to me.
Well, let me respond to the business plan ideology. First of all, most people, when they hear the term business plan, they think of a 30-page document written by an attorney or the marketing strategist. They've dumped $5, $10, $15, $20,000 into this plan, or the entrepreneur, the self-motivated, the self-driven individual who goes out and studies YouTube or buys a book or, goes to whatever masterclass, SCORE, SBDC, SBA, and they write these 15, 16, 20-page business plans and go, okay, here's my plan. I don't want to use the Mike Tyson phrase because everyone's used the Mike Tyson phrase. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face, right? But the reality is a business plan shouldn't be any more than one page, right? It really needs to be streamlined because a business plan must be agile. It must change with you every day. If you make a change today because the market shift, then you make a change in your business plan today to project what your new target is. If you have to change your target market, if you have to change your model, if you have to change your pricing, if you have to change your deliverables, however that happens, that needs to change. What happens in most instances, and I can confidently say 76% of the time, is that business owners get this business plan and they stick it on the shelf and they review it quarterly as if it's just check the water plant to see if it has water on Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just checking. Oh, it rained. It's good. I'm not touching it. And they never go back and really go into the soil and root out all of the bad stuff and clean it up, get a new pot, those analogies just come rushing into me when I think about it. And so you can't break your leg, go to the doctor, and he give you a cast, and you never go back. You never go back for a second x-ray. You never go back to get the cast off. You never go back to determine whether or not you need more to get medication. You just one day wake up and say, you know what, I feel better. I'm cutting the cast off. I'm good. That's the activity of an entrepreneur with a business plan. I have it, sit it on the shelf. It's good until I need it. And normally when they go back to read it, they're doing something completely different than what they actually wrote in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to tell you that on February 13, one of the last few meetings that I produced, this one was in LA, on the west side in Venice Beach, which there's not exactly a business center, except that it is in the heart of Silicon Beach, which is Silicon Valley South. And that's because Apple and the others up north,
yes,
400 miles from here, found it impossible to relocate the very cool people from LA up to the Bay Area. So they sent the company down there,
Right.
So anyway, that's where I held our meeting. And it was a good meeting, very strong. And I had as my lunchtime speaker a venture capitalist who lives in the area and who I've known for about 20 years. But long story made short, before he got to speak, I asked him in front of everybody else, so you're going to turn me down again when I ask for money? And so he says, yes, because you're going to lose it. And we're not going to lend you any money. But he says, and this is in February, before COVID hit, right? He says, you don't need it. You just keep doing what you're doing and go video and take the whole world in and make sure you do it okay. You don't have to worry about a Hollywood shine. Just do it. And then correct it the next time when you screw up. Right. and the next time, like ready, fire. No, aim.
That's right.
Then do it again. So he says, you'll find advertisers if you deliver the quality people, bringing people together and make it personable. So anyway, here we are. We've done around 30 broadcasts. Dr. Natalie's been on at least one, I think too, but and now we have another one coming up. And so there's no business plan. I mean, it's in my head. Like,
Well,
okay, so I'm going to do 100 broadcasts, okay, and I'm looking for underwriters, all right, and I'm also looking for onesie twosies, right? and let me tell you, people are not parting with their money right now.
Right.
well,
So
that's true.
So the business plan, yeah, I know what I want to do, but no one is going to fund that.
That's right. It's interesting how you say that and how you led into that story where this venture capitalist begins speaking to you and says, no, I'm not going to give you money because you're going to lose it. Right. That's a great, because that's so true. Right. 1 out of 50 may say yes. And then the yes has 1,000 conditions to it that you don't want anyway. Right.
Right.
See? So
well, because you worry about it and you can't do your business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so you made it very clear. It's very obvious. There's a plan. He even gave you a plan. As small as that was, there was a plan. No, keep doing what you're doing. Go video, take in the world, and then your motto is, okay, I'm going to get so many viewers, and then I'm going to really use my audience to help get underwriters, get the onesie twosies, right? So you have a plan. And like you said, it's in your head, but you have a plan. If you wrote that out, it wouldn't be any longer than one page. And if tomorrow morning you woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to change that number from 100 shows to 200 shows, you simply scratch out 100 and write in 200 and boom,
Right.
You've updated your business plan. And you're just updating the things that you promised yourself to do. It's not the theoretical Brown University, sit down, write this plan, do market research. How big is your industry? It doesn't require that.
So and I know Dr. Natalie is famous for her study of human patterns, right? And
yes.
how when you were growing up, somebody got you to do things in a certain way, and for some reason they're still in your head, right?
That is correct.
So I'm not practicing psychology here, doctor, but the pattern of an entrepreneur is to keep losing. How do we break it?
Because there are two parts to this, right? I look at a business plan similar to what I call my IGS, my internal guidance systems. Okay. It's life. My business is my life. My life faces a variety of challenges every single day. So I adjust. However, if I know, here I go with my PEEF project, if I know my purpose, which in business is your mission and your vision, if I know that, I will maybe take some detours, but I know my goal. And so that's really how I see the business plan. For example, it's my goal. Now, if you think about it that way, most businesses or a lot of businesses that I've run into that fail, and you're not one of them, Ed, you have not failed. Okay. You may have fallen here and there, always stood back up. Okay. And failing really is only a term that applies in my world if you don't learn from it. Right. I mean, I've had 2 businesses that, not mentioning it. So it's more like a life plan that you adjust to. And you make changes according to what you're facing. And in your personal life, you do that. A friend turns out not to be a friend. Okay, you split from them. You have to do the same in business. In business, it's just good to have a little contract, to say, if we don't get along, what are we going to do here? So it's very similar. And putting that to what, the subconscious mind, some of us are more designed to hang on to something, even if we're failing, to not see what is real. Those people are more stagnant and they need a lot more guidance. They're not as flexible because somebody said, you need to be an accountant. So they just think they need to be employed as an accountant. And that's a great job. Don't get me wrong. I need accountants. Okay. However,
that was my original plan. My father said, learn how to be an accountant. So I went to a college and then flunked.
Oh, you're losing. Good.
So I have a pattern of failure.
purpose. It's not failure. It wasn't your purpose, right? And so if you're thinking about business and life really as interconnected, okay? If I were to try and launch a beauty business, I should not. I don't like dealing with my hair and all of that. Okay. So I could try that, but it would never work out, even if I had the great business plan, because I wouldn't be passionate about it. So business plan is just one of the ideas. It's our whole attitude towards it, being willing to learn. So, I mean, Ed, I'm sorry, you're the prime example. You're adjusting. You have your vision, you have your mission, and you're adjusting. Oh, can't go live right now in person. Guess what? I'm taking it here. And by the way, I have so much more to produce, to show, to share than, excuse me, just mobility, right? It's much broader. You're talking about human beings and their experiences. And that's really, don't we want our life to mean something, right? We all want to leave some kind of legacy in our lives, whether that is writing a story for our kids or not. As the same.
I have to say that you just gave me an idea for a new show, so I'm writing it down, and I'm gonna and I'm gonna call it, yeah. So I'm gonna call it Human X,
Yeah.
and
Awesome.
so I want you to be a guest on that program someday.
Of course, of course. I mean, just think about your legacy, right? Even if it's just for you, even if you don't have kids or something, but it's that famous, infamous question: what would you like to be remembered for? That's really what we're talking about. And if you don't have some kind of plan, as flexible as it needs to be, how are you going to get there? You need some kind of roadmap, don't you? And along the road, you stop to get gas and you stop to get a burger. You don't like the burger, so you get, I don't know, a quesadilla. I mean, you try out different things.
Now,
I'm running.
Karlton, what's your business about? Bottom line.
Bottom line, building sustainable businesses. It's a software as a service, and it allows business coaches, who are the doctors of the business industry in my eyes, serve their patients, who are the business owners and entrepreneurs that are failing in droves way before COVID. COVID kind of brought it to the forefront, but business has been failing exponentially since 1990 at rates that are epidemic. No one talks about it. It's crazy that they don't. The business is about, the software is about providing a roadmap to develop a sustainable business. And that's it. Really simple in a nutshell. That's what it does. Now there's bells, whistles, and features and functions, obviously. But the bottom line is to build a sustainable business. And to kind of jump back just a little bit, Ed, if you don't mind, I want to just kind of, you asked the question, why are these businesses failing? And the simple answer to that question is, they decided to go into business. They walked in the store and they bought a puzzle box, and it had no picture on the top. And it has 1,000 pieces to it. And they're laying on their living room floor and they're trying to put this puzzle together, and they have no clue what the picture's supposed to be. That's the answer. They have no clue. They don't know what piece to put in. They don't know when to put that piece in. So what do business owners do? Self-motivated, self-driven, don't want to go back to work, a lot of pride, very competitive. Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube and get my answer. I need better marketing. I'm going to go to YouTube and get my answer. I need better sales. I'm going to go to YouTube and get my answer. I need an accounting. I'm going to go to YouTube and learn how to do accounting. Oh, I need marketing. I need to go, right? And so they tried to figure out all these pieces by themselves. It's no different than a soldier. And I was in the Army, and I was a combat engineer, right? Jumping out of a helicopter, my lifetime expectancy once I hit the ground was 72 seconds. Can you imagine me getting shot in the back and trying to perform surgery on myself? It's impossible, dude. You can't perform surgery on yourself. You were shot in the back, buddy, right? And so business owners are trying to perform surgery on themselves. And so they shun coaches and they shun consultants. And you can't. Those are the ones that are going to guide you through this process. They're the ones who understands these roadblocks. They're able to break these roadblocks down into bite-sized pieces, feed them to the business owner so that they can consume this information and achieve that and cross over that block and move on to the next one. So in other words, it's the coaches and the consultants' job to provide the picture. And it's their job to say, here's the piece you need to put in next, not haphazardly put a piece in. because everything has to go in order. You can't put the roof on a house until you have a foundation. You can't put the roof on a house until you have walls, right? There's just certain things that have to be there before you do it. And what we find, and what I've found coaching over my years, is that business owners want to put furniture into the house before there's even a roof, right?
Interesting. So in the Vietnam era, I was a medic. And,
So you understand.
So some, yeah. But
Self though.
but we were never called up. We were A1A, but in the reserves. But we never got. So I was stationed in Boston, where I'm from, in a hospital. And it was Children's Hospital. So I was trained. One of the doctors was a thoracic surgeon, which is like through here, and which is a MASH unit thing. So because he never got called up, I never got called up. So for 6 years, we just did weekly tours of duty in the emergency room of Children's Hospital. So I didn't wear the candy striper, but that's what I was. Actually, it changed my life because I sat in on surgery, and some didn't survive and most did. And it just really changed my life and dealing with people and trauma.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's interesting to hear your story. So Karlton, does the software say, okay, you have, I mean, is it programmed so that an entrepreneur will say, or will learn that, okay, I've done this. And so would it be intuitive enough to say, well, you need to think about doing this kind of thing, go find something to do that fits into this pattern?
Something like that. Yeah. So let me share a little bit about that. The way it's built, we have 115 building blocks. We call them KPIs, if you will. But we look at them as building blocks. And these building blocks all fall within inside of a specific life cycle stage. One of the things that I think is missing from the whole entrepreneurial industry is the realization that life cycle stages are not just theory. They are practical. And they need to be used in a practical application. That's probably one of the aha moments we had over the 4.5 years of study, 18,000+ hours of research. This is that most people refer to a life cycle stage in the business. Oh, I'm in a growth stage because I'm growing. Oh, I'm in a startup stage because I just started a business. Oh, I'm in expansion stage because I want to expand. That's like a child say, I'm in the adult stage because I'm 14 and I want to be an adult. I'm mature. Just wake up one day, I'm mature. Doesn't work that way, and that's me when I fall down outside at 50 years old and hurt my knee and I go, I'm not old anymore. I'm a toddler. My body has to heal the way that I feel. I'm a toddler. Well, you just can't jump back and forth through these life cycle stages. There's certain parameters for each life cycle stage. And each one of those life cycle stages has specific macro, high level building blocks that require attention. That's where the consulting comes in. So I'm leading right into your question, Ed. That's where the consultants and the coaches come in, because their job is, as I mentioned earlier, is to grab these building blocks, break them down into bite-sized pieces, and then feed them to their clients, because that is their job. That's the coach's job, is to transform the misunderstood to a complete understanding so that the business owner can complete the task. Their job is to make sure the task is complete. So there's an energy level, there's a submission level of task. So the way our software is built, Pillar 5 is designed, is first to identify the life cycle stage of the business. Once it identifies the life cycle stage of the business, then it says, okay, you need to accomplish all of these building blocks. So we walk them through a checklist of building blocks, and we don't provide all of the 115 building blocks from at once, because there'll be, paralysis of analysis. There will be jumping over the building blocks that need attention because I want to do this because this looks prettier, or this I think will make me more money than doing this building block, right? No one wants to work on the foundation of their home, right? I think about it this way. If If my wife walks in and says, honey, I want to remodel the house. I want to put up $100,000. Let's remodel the house. And I say, okay, we're going to spend $20,000 underneath the house on the foundation. She'd go, what? No, I can't see the pretty in that, right? There's no pretty there. You're going to waste my money. I don't want to do it again. Change my mind. Right?
Right.
Project's over. And so that's how entrepreneurs do. What's the pretty part? How do I make more money? Don't tell me how I need to develop a good infrastructure. Don't tell me about the management component. Tell me how to make money, guys. And that's what they do when they go to a coach. They say, what do you need? I need more sales. What do you need? I need more money. What do you need? I need more revenue. What do you need? I need more clients. What do you need? I need to make more money. And it's like, no, you need to structure right. You need better management. You need to increase your marketing. You need to fix your credit. There's a lot of other components to that. And so these building blocks walks them through these components step by step in the right sequence. So they're not registering a business before they've proven the market. They're not opening a bank account before they've actually had a sale. They're not, projecting what the 20-year mark is going to look like or what expansion and growth is going to look like if they haven't even sold a product or they haven't even developed a network or they haven't even developed a client base. Like there's certain tools, and we provide those specifically for the consultants to see so that the clients can work on automatedly. The big idea in my head, Ed, is after being a consultant for so many years is that I find myself repeating myself over and over and over and over again. And that's when you get a new client and they're learning something or they're going through a task that you've already went through 30 times with 30 other clients. I have to repeat that task one more time. So the cloning process is the huge component of our software, where consultants can literally go into each one of those building blocks and break out exactly what they want their client to do in a customized way, so that when their client hits that building block, hey, write a business plan, they can explain, I'm not talking about the 30-page business plan. I'm talking about this plan. Or if that consultant wants a 30-page business plan, they can tell that to their clients, and they can walk their clients through in an automated process, which allows clients, big thing I'm about to jump over here, Ed, I'm jumping over a hurdle, I'm getting there, is that the consultants can multiply their consulting practice. Why is that so important to me? Right now, on average, consultants have less than 12 clients. Typically, 86% or more have less than 6 clients. Okay? There's about 3 million consultants out there. Okay, so if I multiply that by 6, that gets me to a number somewhere around 18 million businesses. There's 30 million businesses in the United States. That tells me there's 12 million businesses that have absolutely unequivocally no help. So the only way to help them is to help the consultants multiply their business model so that they can help more business owners, which means more business owners will build sustainable companies, which means the 76% of businesses that never make it to year 10 and the 86% of businesses that generate less than $250,000 would increase or decrease, depending on how you look at that. We'll have more sustainable businesses, more revenue coming through these businesses, which will impact our economy immensely. And that's where we stand with that. And that's why Pillar 5 is what it is.
This is inspiring, Karlton. So I really thank you for bringing me up that mountain. And it's like, not to be melodramatic here, but the "I have a dream" speech.
Yes.
And that's what immediately just comes to mind here. So with that in mind, we're going to take a quick break here. I want to show you these commercials, and then I want to talk to you about the use of video to help entrepreneurs and others understand more about what to do. I've been asked by a London-based publisher to write a second article. I was fortunate to do one earlier. But so I said, well, Courtney is his name. Courtney, what am I supposed to talk about now? Because the first one really was good. And I don't know whether So he says, well, I'll leave it to you, but I think you'll just expand on the original idea. don't come up with a new one. Just go deeper. So I said, "Ooh, that's a good one." so, so in the first one, so it's all about reinventing ourselves for the new now, as I call it. Okay?
Ooh, I like that.
All right. So I was, I don't know, having a glass of red wine ad nauseum one night, and I came up with the idea. I was actually looking at the Coronado Bridge here in San Diego, and I says, bridge over troubled waters. And then I played that old song. I found it on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And then I just had another glass of wine. And then I decided.
I'm counting it. I'm counting.
No, I'm not sharing everything. So then I started writing things down, and then I went to bed, enough wine already. And so so you know how it is. You get up in the morning and you say, did I do that? So, but anyway, I then wrote things down. I decided, well, people don't want to hear from me, but I know people who are really smart. And so I'll ask them for a paragraph on this theme. And boy, it was done in like a week.
Wow.
And so then I put a picture, connected with these paragraphs of the Coronado Bridge at sunset, which I happened to take a few years ago. It was a beautiful picture. And so the guy published it, and boy, it was a big hit. So then he says, okay, so what are you going to do next? And I said, I don't know. But then we said, okay, we'll just go deeper. So I came up with this fictional story. I'll be real quick here. This fictional story about there's a town over the bridge, which crosses over troubled waters, somewhere over there, called New Now. And how do you live in New Now when you don't know really what it's about? And
sure.
So that goes back to the reinvention idea. Okay, now that we're into the COVID thing and all this for 3-4 months, what's next? What's the reality check? And so now, so I'm doing that. And I sent this idea off to Courtney in London, and he came back and he liked it. So I said, well, now here's the kicker. I'm going to call it I Have a Dream. In other words, the entrepreneurial dream. Okay. And so how do we get there? And so now that's the theme.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so that's what I'm working on. And Dr. Natalie, that's why I asked you to consider being a contributor of that. So Karlton, now I'm going to invite you to send me a paragraph, sort of what you and I were just talking about the reality check of being an entrepreneur and business plans and what does it all mean? So
awesome.
Please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to take 2 minutes here. Actually 2.5 minutes. I want to introduce our sponsors. Global TV Talk Show is co-sponsored by Porchlight Rental and Destination Services. That's porchlightrental.com. Porchlightrental.com. Also by CubeMonk.com. That's CubeMonk.com. It's an innovation in also good packaging, freight forwarding, wonderful invention. And by the relocation management company, Ayres Relocation. That's AIRES. Ayres.com. Thank you for being a sponsor of Global TV Talk Show.
As an expat moving to the USA, relocating is exciting, but it can also be stressful. Getting a car, truck, or SUV for personal transportation is usually a high priority. That's where International Auto Source comes in. We make getting the vehicle you want for your work assignment or academic program easy, so you're ready to drive when you arrive. Our product specialists have helped over 50,000 expatriates with their personal transportation needs, making us the largest international auto retailer in the world. International Auto Source gives you flexible payment options to buy, lease, or rent a vehicle from the world's leading auto brands, arrange financing on a purchase or lease without a U.S. credit history, social security number, or driving record, get full insurance coverage, and get approved easily through our low-rate factory-backed financing programs. And because we're an authorized distributor of the world's leading automotive brands, our no-haggle prices are competitive, and the buying experience is hassle-free. We'll even guarantee your new vehicle will be ready the day you arrive. With over 20 years of experience in the global community, we are the vehicle experts for expats. We are International Auto Source.
Hello there! Are you going global? If so, it makes sense to obtain insurance that will cover you and your family members globally. Expat Financial is an independent international brokerage that offers international health insurance, expatriate life and disability insurance, as well as travel insurance plans to both individual expatriates and expatriate employers. Expat Financial connects clients around the world with well-known and respected insurance service providers while providing excellent client support and service. Individual expats can also obtain a quote and apply for international health insurance coverage via expatfinancial.com. Expat Financial, a division of TFG Global Insurance Solutions Ltd, can also source special risk coverage for employees working in high-risk countries. Please contact Expat Financial today to discuss your global insurance needs. Remember, Expat Financial is your go-to expatriate insurance specialist. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Thank you. So thanks for watching those. As you saw, the last two, particularly the last one, was Hollywood produced, and the car one was produced in New York. And Paul created the first batch.
Yeah, I really like the International Auto Source. I think a couple of my friends are using that. So that was very, very interesting. I never heard of them, but I know that they've used them and they've been very, very happy with them. So awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my job now, is to find advertisers and to finance the series. And, you know, whether it's done like the first group or long form. So that's what I'm doing. That's the business plan, if you will, is to find somebody to spend some money. But there's a whole list of benefits. I'm packaging, and this might be interesting to you, Karlton, the methodology to present the idea of spending money in this perilous time we're in. I'm using the format that's KPBS, the Public Broadcasting TV series.
Okay.
You know, if you watch that stuff, they have a way of selling sponsorships and underwriting at various levels, and they give away gifts, thank you gifts. You know, you spend this a month, you get this. You spend big numbers, you get a whole bunch of other things.
Sure.
Okay, so that's how I'm basing it. So I don't have to create the wheel. I'm just going to pick it up and put it down and apply it to what I'm doing. And anyway, it's a work in progress. So,
well, Ed, I'd be happy to throw some gifts at you. You can give away a few licenses. You can give the tool away to a few consultants if they, you know, if they come on and do an advertisement. If an entrepreneur wants to do it, we'll give them license lifetime, by the way. We'll give them lifetime access, not just 1 year and then they have to pay us next year or whatever. We'll give you a few lifetime access licenses, and you can use those as gifts as they decide to do that. And we can have another conversation on another day, and we can really get down into the weeds of this. But I can definitely see, you know, what you're doing on your show on our platform, in fact, where consultants can come in and have these conversations with you, and they can become the influencer. They can become the authority just by being interviewed by you, and they can have that opportunity to share that content like a coffee morning show, if you will.
I'd be really honored
on our platform to do that, and we can work it out. for sure.
I think that's cool. So you're talking about like a white label kind of a thing?
Yep, it'll be you, right? It'll be you on it. It'll be your show on our platform, basically, and anyone views it, you're getting the views for that, not us. We're not talk show hosts.
So, and if they're under stress, then it goes to Dr. Natalie.
Well, it's so important, not just what you do, but in general, videos. The talking right now is important because we're all geographically distant, but I believe we're actually socially coming so much closer. And we need that interaction. When we read a book, or even, squirrel moment here, I put together a desk 2 days ago. It was horrible. Some of the instructions didn't make sense to me. So I jumped over a couple of steps and then I went back. Okay. Because I didn't think like they did. And the same happens when we read a book. It's just that we read it. We have nobody to communicate with. So when you have a talk show or a specific topic for 5 minutes and you nail down on that topic, or you can ask, well, what do you mean by this? It's very different. It becomes more alive. And most of us work like that. We understand things by watching and engaging interactive video, like the commercials you showed. They were interactive. They weren't just one person talking at you. We saw other things. And so having a talk show about the business aspect and then everything else that impacts being an entrepreneur is absolutely necessary right now. That's how we learn. That's how we connect. That's also how we open ourselves up and get rid of some of our patterns by saying, oh yeah, I'm alone in my room, but oh yeah, Ed makes a good point. I never thought about that. Maybe I should read up on it. So it's really crucial. I love the idea of having that show, specifically on our platform. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Absolutely. And much needed. Yes. I do use videos for explanatory reasons. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. So Karlton, do you have a commercial yet?
As you can see, the lighting behind me and all this stuff getting set up. I just got back in from travels Sunday, I think it was. I don't even remember what day. Today's Friday, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so this week has been a blur, just kind of. But I'm literally looking at my teleprompter to the right-hand screen, right here to my right, that I'm editing because I have to do a film before 3:00 today.
Oh.
I have to do my ad, Ed, or I'm going to get in trouble. Natalie's going to beat me. So I got to do it.
Okay,
I got to
end this.
No, we're fine. We got time.
Okay.
The other thing, let me just jump in. The other thing is that we do have a small ad that involves a clock. And when we're talking about videos, because that's one of the questions you asked, before the break, it's that interaction that we have with one another. It's also breaking things down in a video. If you show me how I'm supposed to put this desk together, because the way that you've written it down doesn't make any sense to me. But if you show me and I can pause it and I can see, oh, that's where that nail goes, because, you forgot that there was a nail. So it helps. All of those things help. However we can reach, in this instance, entrepreneurs or just other people. And especially the situation right now, we need to reach out to people and help open them up to talking and exploring their options, getting out of stagnation. Yeah.
So very interestingly, here in the condo, we bought recently, because we had to, the old one broke, washer dryer combination made by LG, and it's a washer dryer combination ventless. Okay, because we're in a condo thing. Okay, and so they make this compact unit. It's brand new, very high tech. That does one machine. You don't have to pick the stuff out of the washer and put it into the dryer. You can just go out, right? And it's all computerized and sensitive to the weight of the load, and then it determines, although it gives you choices, of the spin cycle, the strength of it, the water level, the dry. It's crazy, but it works. And but we couldn't figure out how to just do a dry. Put a damp shirt in. You want to dry, right? So we couldn't figure out how to do it because we looked in the owner's manual. It didn't say anything about how to do it, which is crazy. So I went on the chat box with LG, and they couldn't figure out what I was talking about. And so they never answered it. And so
Yep.
daughter-in-law was over, and we explained the situation. And so she's a Presbyterian ordained minister, so she's not a tech, right? But she went on YouTube and found somebody talking about this
Absolutely.
washing machine.
Yes.
And it wasn't the exact model. It was an older model, but they talked about the exact problem on that older model. And so she says, well, why not just copy it and try it on this brand new thing? And it worked just like that.
Yeah.
So
That's how it is. How it is.
Amazing.
It's not in the business plan.
Yeah. I think it's funny you say that, and you mentioned YouTube, and Natalie's talking about videos, because I'm a YouTuber. I love YouTube. Not to say that I have a channel and I do a lot of broadcasting, because I don't. But I'm a YouTuber in the sense of that is my go-to. That is my new Britannica encyclopedia. When I was growing up, I remember if something went wrong, you went to the dictionary, you went to encyclopedia, and you went and figured it out. And if that didn't work, you go to the library and you ask the librarian, what book do I need to find in order to get the instructions to fix this thing, right? That's how it went back then.
Right.
And then we saw the movie Matrix, and, she's standing on a roof, and there's this B-52 bomber there. And he says, do you know how to fly a B-52 bomber? And he goes, I do now. And she jumps in and she flies it. And so that is my YouTube. That's how I look at YouTube. I'm in the Matrix there. The other day, my dryer is just going haywire. I don't know what's wrong with it. And so I went to YouTube, how to evaluate the problem. I promise you, 15 minutes and 86 cents later, I had fixed the problem that most people would have paid $600 for a technician to come out to do. And so YouTube is just the go-to. And so I know when a person wants to learn something, that's where they go.
Boy, that's self-gratifying. That's for sure.
So everything I fix in my house is through YouTube. So I have a YouTube house.
Well, good for you. Boy, that's great. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this talk show here and have learned a lot and made a new friend. Thank you, Dr. Natalie.
Pleasure to meet you, Ed. You're mine on this side too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so Natalie, you're writing a new book?
Yeah, I'm sort of writing a new book. It's more in alignment with some of the hidden power of patterns and the need to, I will call it, most likely show yourself from the Frozen movie. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Karlton, very nice to meet you. Let's talk again. And,
absolutely.
So how can people reach you? What's your website?
They can reach us at pillar5.com. Just go right to pillar5.com. And if they want to reach me directly, they're welcome to do so. And they can reach me at Karlton at I Do Systems. That's IDUE. That's the due diligence in all the work we do. IDUEsystems.com. They can reach me direct.
Great. Dr. Natalie, your website?
NatalieForrest.com and also Pillar5, of course. But the easiest to reach me is probably all over social media. Just type in Natalie Forrest. I should come up.
Yes, I see you everywhere. All right. And this is Ed in San Diego. And thanks for being our guest on Global TV.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Okay. Ciao.
Ciao.